Welcome to Sardar Academy. I am Pahulmeet Singh. Today we are going to learn about the verbs, their types, and their uses. This is going to be exciting. Well, before we discuss about the verbs, let's understand what are the main parts of a sentence. A sentence usually have a subject, a verb, an object, and a proposition. Subject is a person or a thing that is being discussed, described, or dealt with, while a verb is a word used to describe an action, state, or occurrence. Object is a noun or noun phrase governed by an active transitive verb or by a preposition. And preposition is anything you can do with a box. I know these definitions do not match with your textbooks because I am so cool. Just kidding. Well, subject ਇੱਕ ਹਿਊਮਨ ਹੋ ਸਕਦਾ, ਕੋਈ ਨਾਨ ਹਿਊਮਨ ਹੋ ਸਕਦਾ, ਜਾਂ ਕੋਈ ਚੀਜ਼ ਹੋ ਸਕਦੀ ਹੈ ਜਿਸ ਦੇ ਬਾਰੇ ਗੱਲ ਕੀਤੀ ਜਾ ਰਹੀ ਹੈ, ਜਾਂ ਜੋ ਵੀ ਜੇਕਰ ਉਹ ਕੁਝ ਕਰ ਰਿਹਾ ਤਾਂ ਉਹ ਇੱਕ ਸਬਜੈਕਟ ਆ। ਅਸੀਂ ਵਰਬਸ ਸਿੱਖ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ, ਅਸੀਂ ਸਿੱਖ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ ਅਤੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਇੱਥੇ ਸਬਜੈਕਟ ਹਾਂ। ਬਟ ਵਰਬ ਇੱਕ ਵਰਡ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਹੈ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਕੋਈ ਐਕਸ਼ਨ ਡਿਸਕਰਾਈਬ ਕਰ ਰਿਹਾ, ਕਿਸੇ ਦੇ ਹਾਲਾਤ ਡਿਸਕਰਾਈਬ ਕਰ ਰਿਹਾ, ਜਾਂ ਕਿਸੇ ਦੀ ਹੋਂਦ ਨੂੰ ਡਿਸਕਰਾਈਬ ਕਰ ਰਿਹਾ। For example, we are learning verbs. So learning is an action and it's a verb over here. If you are thinking, then your state is thinking, and thinking is a verb. Object is an ਉਹ ਚੀਜ਼ ਹੁੰਦਾ verb ਦੀ ਜਿਸ ਦੇ ਉੱਪਰ ਇਨਫਲੂਐਂਸ ਹੁੰਦੀ। ਕਹਿਣ ਦਾ ਮਤਲਬ ਜੋ ਵੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਕੰਮ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ ਉਹਦਾ ਕਿਸੇ ਹੋਰ ਉੱਤੇ ਕੋਈ ਪ੍ਰਭਾਵ ਹੈ, ਅਗਰ ਹੈ ਤਾਂ ਉਹ ਚੀਜ਼ ਆਬਜੈਕਟ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਹੈ। ਵੀ ਆਰ ਲਰਨਿੰਗ ਵਰਬਸ। ਅਸੀਂ ਕੀ ਲਰਨ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ? ਅਸੀਂ ਵਰਬਸ ਲਰਨ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ। ਸੋ ਵਰਬ is an object here right now. This might be a little confusing, but you can do it. Preposition is anything you can do with a box. I know this is funny, but the easiest way to remember what a preposition is, it's just that anything you can do with a box. Well, let's see what you can do with a box. But first, let's understand what preposition means. Pre means before and position means place. So ਜਿਹੜੀ ਚੀਜ਼ ਕਿਸੇ ਚੀਜ਼ ਤੋਂ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਪਲੇਸ ਕੀਤੀ ਜਾਵੇ ਉਹ ਪ੍ਰੈਪੋਜੀਸ਼ਨ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਹੈ। ਐਂਡ ਬਾਕਸ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਅਸੀਂ ਕੀ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਹਾਂ? Box the in, we can have toys in the box, we can have glass on the box, we can have a person near the box, we can have pencil below the box, we can walk around the box. Box ਦੇ ਉੱਪਰ ਜਾ ਸਕਦੇ ਹਾਂ, ਥੱਲੇ ਜਾ ਸਕਦੇ ਹਾਂ, ਆਲੇ ਦੁਆਲੇ ਜਾ ਸਕਦੇ ਹਾਂ, ਬਾਕਸ ਦੇ ਨੀਅਰ ਜਾ ਸਕਦੇ ਹਾਂ, ਬਾਕਸ ਤੋਂ ਫਾਰ ਜਾ ਸਕਦੇ ਹਾਂ, far from the box. We can go around the box. We can go against the box. These are all the things that you can do with a box, and these are all the prepositions. Well, let's understand what are verbs. Are they verbs? No, they are words. So verbs are doing words. A verb can express a physical action, a mental action, or a state of being. Verb ਇੱਕ ਉਹ word ਹੁੰਦਾ ਜੋ ਕਿਸੇ ਦੀ ਕਿਰਿਆ ਜੋ ਉਹ ਕਰ ਰਿਹਾ ਜਾਂ ਉਹ ਕੁਛ ਸੋਚ ਰਿਹਾ ਦਿਮਾਗ ਦੇ ਰਾਹੀਂ, ਆਪਣੀ ਬਾਡੀ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਕੁਛ ਕਰ ਰਿਹਾ, ਉਹ ਫਿਜ਼ੀਕਲ ਹੋਇਆ, ਜੇ ਦਿਮਾਗ ਦੇ ਰਾਹੀਂ ਕਰ ਰਿਹਾ ਉਹ ਮੈਂਟਲ ਹੋਇਆ, ਜਾਂ ਉਹ ਹੈ ਵੀ ਰਿਹਾ ਜਾਂ ਨਹੀਂ, ਉਸ ਦੀ ਹੋਂਦ ਕੀ ਹੈ, ਉਹ ਵੀ ਵਰਬ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਹੈ। ਟੂ ਬੀ is an state of being. To be or not to be, that is the question. A famous quote from Hamlet by Shakespeare. Well, let's see how can we use verbs to express physical actions. I am dancing. We dance with the body. We can see it. It's a physical action. Hence, dancing is a physical action and it's a verb. Kabir is singing a Hindi song. We sing with the body, with our body, and we can hear or see someone singing. This is a physical action and it's a verb. Teacher is writing a letter. teacher write कर रहा, writing is done by our hands, by our body, and we can see someone writing, hence it's a physical action, and writing is a verb. Now teacher की write कर रहा और letter write कर रहा, कौन write कर रहा है? Teacher. So teacher subject है, वो की कर रहा है, वो write कर रहा है, and की write कर रहा है, वो letter write कर रहा है. So subject is teacher, writing is verb, and letter is preposition. I'm sorry, letter is an object. Similarly, Kabir is subject, singing is an verb, and a Hindi song is an object. I am dancing. Notice that dancing does not have a object with it. How can we use verbs to express mental action? Peter guessed the right number. Manav thinks that he should learn verbs. We all think differently. So Peter ने guess ਕੀਤਾ ਆਪਣੇ ਦਿਮਾਗ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ, and guess is a mental action, and it's a verb. ਮਾਨਵ ਨੇ ਆਪਣੇ ਦਿਮਾਗ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਸੋਚਿਆ ਕਿ ਉਸ ਨੂੰ verbs ਸਿੱਖ ਲੈਣੀਆਂ ਚਾਹੀਦੀਆਂ ਨੇ. Thinking is a mental action, hence think is a verb. Similarly, we all think differently. ਅਸੀਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਦਿਮਾਗ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਸੋਚਦੇ ਹਾਂ, ਉਹਨੂੰ ਵੱਖਰਾ ਵੱਖਰਾ ਸੋਚਦੇ ਹਾਂ. Thinking is a mental action, and it's a verb. Verbs to express the state of being. Dinosaurs existed centuries ago. Dinosaurs ਦੀ ਹੋਂਦ ਸੀ, dinosaur ਰਹਿੰਦੇ ਸੀਗੇ ਪਰ ਸਦੀਆਂ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ. Harappa civilization appears to be a well-planned civilization. Harappa civilization ਜਿਹੜੀ ਸੀਗੀ, we learn in history, ਉਹ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਉਹ ਇੱਕ ਵਧੀਆ ਵੈਲ ਪਲੈਨਡ ਸਿਵਲਾਈਜੇਸ਼ਨ ਸੀ, ਉਸਦੀ ਹੋਂਦ ਸੀ. And to be is a state of being, and it's a verb. I am thinking that verbs are not a joke. Thinking is a mental action, and it's a verb. Whereas are is a state of being. Verbs are, verbs exist kardiyan ne, hence it is a verb too. Verbs change with time. Well, they don't actually change, they just change their form. Well, let's be fair, they only change their form sometimes. For example, drive becomes drove when I say main gaddi chalai si, but cut remains cut when I say main paper kattya si. Matlab, if I have to say main drive karda ha, I will say I drive. If I have to say main drive ਕੀਤਾ ਸੀ, I will say I drove. Drive becomes drove. However, if I say I cut paper, मतलब मैं paper कट्या, मैं paper कट्या ਸੀ, and ਜੇ ਮੈਂ ਕਹਾਂ ਕਿ ਮੈਂ paper ਕੱਟਦਾ ਹਾਂ, I will use the same I cut paper. I would suggest remembering verbs. Verbs ਦੀ dictionary ਦੇ ਪਿੱਛੇ list ਹੁੰਦੀ ਹੈ, about 400 or 500 verbs. I would suggest remembering them and their different forms. Well, let's talk about the main two types of verbs. But don't worry, be happy, because every little thing is gonna be alright. A song by Bob Marley. And also, worrying will never change the outcome. And I know you can learn the verbs, they are not hard. Here are the two main types of verbs. We have transitive verb and we have intransitive verb. What are transitive verb and intransitive verb? I will explain in a second, but let's see if you know about them already. See if you can notice a difference between these two sentences. You have a hint. You can look after the verb. Verb is in the red color. If there is any word after the verb, that will be a hint for you. I will give you 3 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Okay, before I give you the answers, let's see what are the transitive and intransitive verbs. Transitive verbs are action verbs that have an object to receive that action. All verbs जिन्हां दे पिछे एक्शन दी ज़रूरत हुंदी। फॉर एग्जाम्पल, शी किक्ड द बॉल, उसने बॉल नूं किक कीता। उसने किक कीता, पर की किक कीता? उसने बॉल नूं किक कीता। Ball is an object. Therefore, kicked is a transitive verb over here. However, intransitive verbs are similar to transitive verbs. They define an action, but they don't need an object. मतलब वो verbs जिन्हां दे पिछे object दी ज़रूरत नहीं हुंदी। For example, the birds are singing. Birds गा रहे ने, पर वो की गा रहे ने? We don't care about that. Therefore, there is no object, and the singing is an intransitive verb over here. Rajan is cooking. वो की cook कर रहा? We don't care because ਉਹਨੇ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਖਾਣ ਨੂੰ ਨਹੀਂ ਦੇਣਾ। ਇਸ ਕਰਕੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਇਸ ਦੇ ਬਾਰੇ ਪੁੱਛਣਾ ਹੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਉਹ ਕੁਕ ਕੀ ਕਰਦਾ। But anyways, cooking does not have an object over here. Hence, cooking is an intransitive verb. But if I say Rajan is cooking chicken, cooking has a object now. Rajan की cook कर रहा? वो chicken cook कर रहा? And therefore cooking is an transitive verb right now. So remember, if you have an object, the verb is transitive. If you don't have an object, the verb is intransitive. Let's see what are the answers to our quiz. Well, the difference is that the first sentence is it does not have an object after the verb. Hence, the verb is an intransitive verb. An intransitive verb. John rides bicycle. Rides is a verb, and John ki ride karda? Bicycle ride karda. We have an object, therefore rides is a transitive verb. Okay, so in conclusion, things to remember are, what are verbs? Verbs are used to express what's happening. ਇਹ ਦੱਸਣ ਲਈ ਕਿ ਕੋਈ ਕੀ ਕਰ ਰਿਹਾ ਜਾਂ ਕੀ ਸੋਚ ਰਿਹਾ ਜਾਂ ਉਸਦੀ ਹੋਂਦ ਕੀ ਆ, we use verbs. And what are prepositions? Prepositions are anything you can do with a box. Literally, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਜੇ preposition ਸਮਝਣੀ ਆ, if you remember that ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇੱਕ box ਨਾਲ ਕੀ ਕੁਝ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਹੋ, you know you got the prepositions. And the same formula applies to any other language: Punjabi, Hindi, Urdu, or English. These are the 4 languages I know. I don't know about the other languages. And the transitive verbs, final thing to remember is that transitive verbs need an object, but intransitive verbs do not. Well, that concludes our lesson. I hope this helped, and stay tuned to Sradhar Academy on YouTube for more videos. See you guys.